think you're in Chicago at the moment.
I am in Chicago,
In
yes.
Chicago. Thomas MacEntee's a baby boomer guy with a love of punk rock music, like myself, and also art history, who somehow fell into the technology industry almost 40 years ago, as I did too, and then left a lucrative IT career to pursue a love of family history and genealogy. Technology and historical research are opposites, but tech people like Thomas are needed to guide today's genealogists through the maze of options so they can deploy the best apps and devices to break down research brick walls. Thomas is an author, educator, advocate, entrepreneur, and that genealogy guy who helps you accomplish your family history goals. I've been looking forward to this for a long, long time. So, welcome, Thomas, and we'll hand it
Great.
over to you.
Thank you. And Bernie, if you could mute yourself, that would be perfect, and Max as well. And I appreciate your skills and Max's skills in moderating these webinars. I know it's an unglorified job. I'm going to go over to my slides. Well, I want to welcome you. And yes, I am Thomas MacEntee. I want to go ahead and move this, and there we go. And back to my slides. Hold on. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I'm in Chicago. Usually I say I'm in Chicago where few are frozen. Many are cold, but few are frozen. But it is 82 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 degrees centigrade right now at 8 o'clock at night. It is Saturday evening here. We're here for translating, transcribing, and summarizing documents using AI, artificial intelligence. You don't need to have a knowledge of AI. I'm going to go over the basics. A little bit more about me. I am in my 49th year of doing genealogy. I know it seems hard to believe. It's all smoke and mirrors. Uh, I caught the bug in January of 1977 as how old was I? I think I was 14. And I was staying with my great grandparents, and this television show came on called Roots. It was one of the first big television miniseries in America, and it was about African American family history, and I was hooked. My great grandparents were born in New York in the 1890s. They had a lot of photos and a lot of stories. And by the way, I also grew up in New York. I spent a lot of time growing up in the Borscht Belt in Sullivan County behind the big Jewish resorts, Grossinger's, Concord, the Nevele, all of those, if you know that history. In 2008, I was laid off during the Great Recession in my information tech job. And I could tell that those jobs, it was right before cloud computing. So I was a server guy. I could tell that those jobs for guys in their mid 40s like me weren't coming back. So I started a genealogy business. I come from a very large family. Uh, the name MacEntee is pronounced McKenty, even though that little A dropped in there. My great grandfather, Elmer McKenty, added that so he could get work as an Irishman in New York in the early 1900s. My mother was one of 12, raised during the Depression in New York City. I have 41 first cousins on my mother's side, about 70 first cousins once removed, and now they all have kids, who I call the TikTok generation. The handout is in the chat. Bernie and Max, you might need to repost it if we get people come in later. I do want to point out that my handouts are substantial. I believe this one is what, 9 pages or so, maybe a little less. You will never get a bullet point outline from me in terms of a handout. You don't have to scribble notes. All the URLs, every site I visit is at the end in a resource list. I believe in actionable genealogy education. You can pick up this handout and start using it later today. And again, I will say I am not responsible for your sleep habits this evening. If you get hooked on ChatGPT and doing some of the things I'm going to show you, and that's what I believe in. Also, I'm going to show you this in real time, meaning we're going to transcribe an 1821 handwritten letter in real time. Not many genealogy lecturers who do webinars are showing this in real time, but I think it's important for you to see that. Another note, let me just say that if you know of a society that has a newsletter and they are in dire need of content, I am here to your rescue. Uh, this handout is available in article format and given out freely. All I want is a link back to my website. You can have that editor email me at highdefgen@gmail.com. My email's on the first page of the handout, and I will show my email at the end as well. I also have 40 other articles, many dealing with technology, but a lot with methodology as well. So let's get started. I cannot tell you how important artificial intelligence is right now in helping genealogists do these three tasks: translation, transcription, and summarization of documents. This is, I would call it grunt work. I mean, it can be tedious, and it's definitely needed. I have been using AI for 2 years solid now, and I'm still amazed. I taught artificial intelligence this morning for a group in the state of Wisconsin here in America, and I was still amazed at what we were accomplishing. Uh, so if you have a handwritten baptismal record or a synagogue record from the 1800s, yeah, it's going to be able to handle that. I will show you a faded newspaper obituary. It will transcribe it easily. There are different AI platforms. I will show you the ones that I consider safe for genealogists and that are most used by genealogists. So let's give a definition of AI. I don't know what level of comfort you all have with AI, if you've used it at all, whether, and probably in the Australian media is the same here in America. The news articles are always it's horrible stuff. There's a lot of misinformation. You're going to blow up the world. You're going to learn how to make a gun or anything, and I'm here to dispel that. Uh, so artificial AI stands for artificial intelligence. It represents computer-based systems, and they can mimic human intelligence. Sometimes they think mimic human stupidity too, but this is the main part. The goal is to have these systems perform human tasks. An example that we'll see. What if I had a 400-page book on the Crandall family genealogy? I found it on Internet Archive. It was published in 1898. It's free, but it had no surnames. Could you imagine me looking for the surnames that I need? I can do it through a search, but why not have AI create a list of surnames? Further to that, what if I told AI, go to this book, which I upload, and extract a list of migration routes organized by surname and then ordered by generation, and then dump it into an Excel file? Yes, it can do that in a matter of minutes. So these are two terms that we need to cover: deep learning, and generative AI. Okay. So deep learning, this is what that computer system does. It mimics our brain because it looks for patterns. So there's a huge knowledge base of information that the platform, and we'll be using mostly Chat GPT, that they have. Where did they get this info? They outright purchased it from, LexisNexis, let's say Penguin Books, whatever, Reuters, Reddit. They also scrape the internet, which is a point of controversy because they have scraped my free cheat sheets, and I've never seen a royalty for their usage. And then they also rely upon the information that users upload. If you upload a letter, it can go into their knowledge base, but there are ways to prevent that, and I'll go over that. So think about it. When we look at a handwritten letter, what do? How do we tell a K from a J from a G in cursive? Well, our mind goes through and we look for patterns. Have you ever had a letter that's hard to read? What do? You look for what you think is, oh, that's what a capital L is, so it must be down here. See, we're looking for patterns. But AI can do this going through billions of records in mere seconds. That's what differentiates it. And it also learns. So it takes in this knowledge and it learns. It can do German fraktur. It can do Cyrillic printed and handwritten, Yiddish printed and handwritten, Hebrew printed and handwritten. You can upload a photo of a cemetery tombstone in Hebrew, and it will translate it for you and transcribe it. That's the amazing part. Generative AI, this is the output. This is what it puts out. Now, let me make it very clear. We're not talking a search engine here. Okay, if you want to use it to search for things, you're really not taking advantage of the power of AI. You will not find genealogical records on any AI platform right now. And it makes sense. Ancestry has all of their records behind a paywall, a membership, MyHeritage, Find My Past. Even Family Search, they require that you log in, and there's some licensing issues. Okay, so this output comes from that big knowledge base, that big head, that big mind of data at the AI platform. Okay, and then it trains itself. Let me give you an example that's easier to understand. Do you know spell check? Microsoft Word. I was a certified Microsoft Word trainer for years. Spell check is easy. You type along, and there's what we call a flat file, a text file, and it compares what you've typed with what's in the dictionary. And if it says, oh, it's not there, it gives you a red squiggle. Then we had grammar check, and this is where it changed, and this is where AI came in. Because grammar check, it had to make decisions. Oh, is his participle dangling? Well, let me highlight that. Maybe this is a misuse of an adverb. Let me highlight that. So it has to make decisions and interpret what you are typing. And then it has gone from there. I'm going to take a little bit of soda here so I don't lose my voice. That can happen after teaching all day. These are the AI platforms that we're going to go over. Let me say first, these are all free. I like free because I'm the cheapest genealogist you'll ever find. They all do have paid components, and I will explain why. And they all are safe to use. You will not set off nuclear weapons. You will not learn how to build a gun. And they're the most used by genealogists. These are in order of popularity. They're also in order of how much knowledge they have to work with. This is ChatGPT. It is actually owned by a nonprofit called OpenAI. And by the way, I want to say for questions, you can enter a question in the chat at any time. I'm of an age where if I don't type it in right away, I'm going to forget it. So go ahead and feel comfortable doing that. I will answer those questions at the end. OpenAI is a nonprofit, sort of you would call a charity, but it's basically not a company. What happened is Facebook, Google, Elon Musk, a few other investors put billions of dollars into this about 7 years ago to develop ChatGPT. Then they each took that version of it and added and customize it for their own use. We'll go over Claude, number 2. Copilot by Microsoft. God bless Copilot. God bless Microsoft. I've worked with them enough to know that they will slowly inject a new technology like Copilot into all of their other holdings. We're talking Edge, Bing, Microsoft Office, Outlook. I think Microsoft's motto should be "You will be assimilated," and then Gemini and Transcribus. We're not going to go over Transcribus, but let's go and take a look at ChatGPT. This is what it looks like. Okay, it is very streamlined. It is very plain. This is where you put in your request. Here's an example. I would say, what was life like in Melbourne, Australia in 1900? Maybe I had an ancestor that was born about then. Okay, it doesn't have to be in the form of a question. We're not playing Jeopardy here. I could easily say, someone is saying they're not seeing something. So let me stop the share, and I apologize. That happens sometimes. And let me go ahead and share this. And confirm to me through chat that you can see it, please. Someone. That would be perfect, that you can see ChatGPT. Let's see. Nope. Okay. Great. Okay, let me stop the share. Let's go ahead and I will share. share my screen, share. And let's see now. Hold on a minute. Okay, so can you still see it right now? If someone would type yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so here we are. We're ChatGPT. I am down here in the lower left corner. I am signed in. You notice it says Pro next to my name. That means that I have a paid subscription, and I'll talk about that. But look at what this does. I can go ahead and type this, and it's going to quickly tell me all of this information. You know why I like this? This is social history. This is that dash between the birth date and the death date, okay? And let's see. Yeah, so whoever cannot see it, Belinda, you may need to log in and log out. So thank you. So you know what? This is what my TikTok generation likes. They like to see this stuff, okay? One thing you noticed, there are no source citations. I don't know where it got this info from. Okay, that's an issue. The other thing is I did this for free. One of the things you should know is, at least here in the United States, I can copy this and use this without fear of violating copyright. I can't speak to the Australian laws, but right now in the US, courts have found that this is not generated by a human. So it can't be copyrighted. This may very well change. Let me tell you that in the United States, photographs could not be copyrighted until 1881. Why? Well, people thought it was some dark art or, magic. How is this photo produced? There's a man with a cloak behind a machine. Well, then the courts understood. There were special settings on that machine. The photographer needed to make a glass negative and they make a print. So you'll have to look up what the laws are. In fact, a good way to do it is ChatGPT. But anyway, I am using, and I'm going to start a new chat right here. I am using the pro version, the paid version. The base subscription is $20 US, and that would be what, about 27, maybe $34. No, it would be 10, 20. Yeah, it might be about $27 Australian a month. Why? Well, this is what happens when you do a lot of work with the free version, and you will have to log in and create a login. Sometimes you will be put in a corner and put in a timeout. Think about it. The company wants to give all of its resources to its paid subscribers, and that will happen if you use this a lot. Also, the paid version can do more. It will go more in depth, and we'll see this in a minute. So that's ChatGPT. Let's go over some of the other ones quickly. Claude. This is what Claude looks like. And again, here I am logged in. It's very simple. You notice that they're pushing their upgrade. The reason is Claude is the stingiest for free users. After about maybe 2 questions, I've had it put me in a corner and on a timeout and, no AI soup for you. It's amazing. It also remembers, all of the platforms will remember the last projects you worked on. Okay. Let me go back here. And for my slide, Copilot. Copilot, this is the simple form. And this is the web browser. Very simple. I'm logged in. It knows me. It gives me some prompts that I can do. Here, translate into Gen Z. So I would say, I guess it's to translate a word into the slang that Gen Z people use. But again, it all works under the same premise. Going back to my slideshow, Gemini by Google. This is number 4 in popularity, and I'm surprised that it isn't more popular. Again, they want you to upgrade. I'm logged in. A lot of times you'll see this word, deep research. What that does is it goes deeper. Very often it will give you source citations, but beware. If you're constantly using deep research in the free version, you will use up your resources and be put in that corner much faster. And then finally, and we won't go over and use this, I will talk about Transcribus. Transcribus is from a I believe is it Swiss or Dutch? A Dutch company. They only transcribe documents. This is why I'm not a big fan of it. It does very well with Hebrew, Yiddish, and Cyrillic documents. But this is the way I operate at home. I'm not going to buy a kitchen gadget if it doesn't do more than one thing. I would have to take the transcription from here and then put it through ChatGPT for translation. So why am I doing that? But I did want to put it out there as a resource. It does have a free version. So there we go. Let's go back to our slideshow. So the first thing we're going to deal with is summarization. And for the most part, most of my documents are going to be US based and in English. I do have two Jewish documents that I will be using, and I will show those. So summarization. So basically, you can pick out key sentences, phrases, or ideas from a text. As I said before, 400-page book, and it had no surnames. It had no index. What am I going to do? And also, could you imagine manually picking out migration routes and organizing them by surname and then by generation? It would take me probably a week to do that. So that's the aim, to pull out the most information and keep the main message in context of the document. Here is a small one. This is my family history on my Dutch side from New York, 1661 in Schenectady, New York, up near Albany. It is a 57-page PDF. So watch what I'm going to do. And the instructions are in your handout. First thing is I need to upload the document. And the document is right here. It is not a very good scan, but it is a PDF. Books, the best format is PDF. For images, the best format is JPEG, and I'll tell you why. If you upload a BMP or a TIFF, you know what TIFF is? TIFF is an archival, non-compressed format. Those are huge files. Again, you start to use up your free resources. Now, this is where I have to craft a prompt. And I could do it in parts, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, create a list of migration routes extracted from this small book published in 1916 and organize the list by surname and order by generation. Then create a Microsoft Excel file. I'm doing Swedish typing tonight with the results. You have up to 2,000 characters here, folks. And again, it's better for you to be verbose rather than, just summarize. The reason is it's not like Ancestry. On Ancestry, I always tell beginners, go broad on your search and then edit and narrow it down. This is the opposite. So let's see what we get. And it's reading the document, and it's going to go through and it's going to do this. Okay. Let's see how fast this goes. And it is the nighttime. It is analyzing it. I'm doing the free version. And so let's go ahead. I'm going to go to the slideshow. Basically, they use special programs, pull out, there it is. And so let me talk about the prompts while it's doing this. Let's see how the progress is. Still analyzing. Great. Because it is a complicated request. It's better when you give them context. Do you remember I said it's a small book? It's 57 pages. I said when it was published. I didn't say the title. I should have said that. Okay. And so that helps. The more information you give the platform, it doesn't have to work as hard. You're not using up as many free resources. Okay. Here's an example. Here, if I had a different book, summarize this local history book about rural New York in the late 19th century. I'm looking for information related to Crawford family, their property holdings, and any mention of their participation in the community church. Again, this is a human task that might take me a while to find in the book. And the results will vary based on which AI platform you used and whether you use the free or the paid version. You will find that sometimes the results on a free version are very minimal. In fact, sometimes AI will get lazy and it will just stop. And it does. Also, this is a style modifier. For me, I said, drop it into Excel. I could have said, put it in bullet point style, put it in executive style, things like that. Okay. And then we have iterative refinement. Let's go check our work. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Okay, it did this. It did them into Excel. Wow. Let's go ahead and see what we see. Oh, file not found. I'm not happy with that. Okay, there it is. Let's go ahead and see if it's in my download. Yeah, don't put one over on me. So not here yet. Okay. So I'm going to give it a thumbs down. Here I have failure on my first one. It's let's see. Refused when it shouldn't have. Okay, so let's do this instead. We're going to take this. We're going to start a new chat. I did this earlier today with from this small book, and I'm going to say the genealogy of David Putman and his descendants. And I'm going to get rid of that part. I can do that as a follow-up. That's what's called iterative, meaning you're having a conversation right now. So I need to upload the document again. And there we are. And I need to wait for it to load. And we'll go ahead and what we'll do is we'll just take the output text. I can tell it's a little bit slow tonight. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and let this run. Let's go back to a slideshow and talk about iterative refinement. And this is a good example. I just basically had a complex task that now I've cut in half. I wanted to do this pulling out of migration route info. And then when I'm done, the next command will be now put it in an Excel table. Okay, maybe that will work better. Here's an example with that other book. Let's say I did that Crawford family book, and I wanted to do a better job, and I want to know more on names, dates, and property transactions between a certain time period. So you can have this ongoing conversation, okay? And so it helps guide AI towards more relevant and accurate outputs. Let's see what we've got. Oh, wow, that was fast. Look at that. Wow, I like this. Okay. And this is amazing, folks. So again, what I can do is see now. Now, I will warn you, this little message here, I am getting this because I have a paid subscription. What you will see when you do free is it won't give you that. It won't go the extra step. Okay. And I would say, please create CSV file, which is comma separated value, which is a form that Excel will interpret. And so what I've just started is an iterative process. I'm doing it step by step, and I will let this run. I'm going to open this window again, and we'll start with transcription. This is worth the price of admission. I know you all paid a lot of money to be here tonight, ha ha ha, or this morning. But this is one of those skills that I do a lot. I will tell you, I have pretty bad arthritis in my hands, and I just recently had a detached retina, and I had the surgery, and my eyesight is not that great, so it's hard for me to do transcription. These are the things. The advances are amazing. Now, do you know what OCR is? OCR is optical character recognition. It's how we scan newspaper images, and the software would go through. But OCR only has an 80% accuracy. Depending on the image, it sometimes can't differentiate between a capital A and a capital H. Okay. Handwriting recognition with AI or print recognition is much better. All right. So every record has its quirks. So again, you might get what I call glommy newspaper information, columns. It doesn't always do well with columns. Vital records. Sometimes you've got a form that's completed by hand, but it's got fill in the blank. Uh, Sometimes there's challenging handwriting, outdated language, and this is why you put it in context. These are the types of documents that are commonly transcribed. Newspaper articles, at least for genealogy, newspaper articles and obituaries, vital records, BMD, hatch, match, and dispatch, census records and immigration forms, personal letters, diaries, and family correspondence. We're going to go with this one. This is a death notice from 1924 for my second great uncle. He died on Labor Day weekend, which is the first weekend in September here in the States, rescuing a child who was in the ocean. He lost his life. The child was rescued. I was given this in 1977 by my great grandmother. She put it on a 3x5 index card and she said, "Here, have it." So this is what I'm going to do. And by the way, let's go back and look at our migration routes. Oh, here we are. Please tell me you can download this. Thank you. Here we go. Let's see what we got. There it is. And I can go ahead here and look at all of that. And that's great. Imagine me doing that. No, thank you. By hand. No, thank you. Okay, I don't want to save that. Thank you. And by the way, you notice that ChatGPT is building a list of things that I've done. I can always go back to them. That's the nice thing about having a login. So here we are. We're going to transcribe that printed death notice. We're going to upload, and I always get in the habit of uploading first, so I never forget it. There it is. And I'm going to say, transcribe exactly, oops, again, Swedish typing, transcribe exactly this death notice from a newspaper published in 1924. The reason I say exactly is this. With the free version, you make it a summary. Again, it's going to be as lazy as it wants to be. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. And look at this. Look at how fast this is. I mean, my mind is just going crazy here. Okay, and that's it. That's amazing. Okay, I could even go this far. I could say, now use the same line breaks as in the original document. I'm a stickler when I transcribe. I put the hard line break. And it should come in, and sure enough, it's going to look exactly like that article. The other thing is, there it is. Perfect. Also, look at the little helper. This is what you get when you pay for it. It's going to help me locate a death certificate. It's like a genealogy assistant. To me, that's worth paying 20 bucks. Now, one point of advice, never buy a full year. I never pay for a full year with technology. I don't want to lose my money. But think about cycling on and cycling off. You know, it's your winter time there. This is a great time when you're inside doing genealogy. But maybe come about March, not March, about September, October, when the weather's getting better, you might want to take a break, and you can do that. So think about that. So that's great. And again, I can copy this and paste this. I'm going to go ahead and do a new chat. Let's move on here. Here we go. This is my mother's certificate of baptism. Mom was born Jacqueline Austin, but this is her saint's name. She's Roman Catholic. My grandparents, Alfred Austin, Anna Henneberg, born in New York. She was born in 1941, but guess what? This was issued in 1958, so I never got to talk to Mom about it before she passed, but I'm thinking she was 17. Maybe she needed this as proof for her first job. Okay, and my great aunt and great uncle, the Marconis, are the witnesses. So this can be a challenge. This is a form. It's got artwork. It's got fill in the blanks. So how's it going to handle this? Well, let's go ahead. Just for shiggles, we're going to do this. We're going to upload this, add photos and files, and we're going to upload the certificate. And again, it's the wording in the prompt. Transcribe exactly this certificate of baptism dated 1958. Okay, go ahead and do that. Let's see how quick it does with handwriting. And Viola, there you are. Okay. Uh, it does a great job. Wow. Amazing. I hope your mind is blown. Mine is still. Let's do another one. This one, we're going to go to this one. This is probably the ugliest handwritten letter I've ever seen in my life. It's dated 1821. It was written as an affidavit in support of an American Revolutionary War pension application. Okay, there's bleed through from another page. I didn't think this was possible, but again, let's go ahead and do it. I mean, as my mother said, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And so here we go. We go to this ugly letter. And again, it's all about the prompt. Transcribe. Yes, Thomas, you know how to spell. I'm so hooked on phonics. This handwritten letter in English. Again, context. English, yeah, I'm a high school graduate. Letter in English, dated 1821, an affidavit in support of an American Rev War pension application for Jacob Hoff. Boom. Okay, let's see what we do. Oh, transcribe exactly. No summaries for me, thank you. There we go. And do you believe this? Absolutely amazing. And this is a JPEG file, okay? I did not do any cleanup on the original file, okay? There it is, all right? And it just, it's crazy. I mean, I just, I don't know, I'm still amazed by this. Okay, let's also do this. We have a document here that was submitted. And we've got a foreign language. So we're going to we can do this in one or two steps. We can do it all at once, which may be a bit taxing. So I don't know much about the language. I'm assuming it is handwritten Cyrillic. It is not Yiddish because the next one, this is typed, I think, Yiddish. And so I'm going to do this. Watch. I'm going to upload. And I have to go into the special folder I have here. And this is a death record for Selma Lazur. Let's do this. There's another word there. Let's do the view. I'm sorry. Details. Selma Lazur Slumper, 1903. We're going to do this. Again, how am I going to craft my prompt? Transcribe exactly this letter dated 1903 for, I'm going to cheat a little. I'll show you my cheat. Where is it? Where are you? Here we go. AI. And I'm going to take this, copy that. There you go. There we go. For, there, because I knew I wouldn't be able to spell this. So it's a death record. Okay. Thank you. Death record. Okay. Dated. Okay. And then translate to English. And I could say Australian, right? I mean, normally what you would do is, because when you sign up for ChatGPT, it will be localized to Australia and, the King's English. So let's go ahead and do this and let's see what it does. It's in Russian cursive. There is the original. Sometimes it will put this text in a box and I just can copy it and I can paste it. And here it is. Now, with all transcription, it is your duty to go ahead and proof that work. You need to make sure it's accurate. We'll go over translation in a minute. But what I would do is I'd read through here first and see if there's anything that it just doesn't make sense. I did have one situation. Here it is. Yeah, and so it can talk about all of this as well. Again, this is that little helper from having a paid subscription. One thing I do want to note is that sometimes, especially with the free version, ChatGPT can hallucinate. What does that mean? Well, it makes stuff up. I had a one-page U.S. Civil War affidavit for a pension, and it inserted a whole story about this soldier marching with General Sherman across the state of Georgia and burned Atlanta, and it wasn't in the original. So it is your duty to go ahead and do that. And here I can go ahead and copy the translated part. Pretty good. And remember, notice it's over here. It's saving all my work. Let's do this one. This one right here. So this was also given to me. I was just told that it was Yiddish. That's all I had to put it in context. I don't have a date on it, I believe. So we'll see what we get. So again, I'm going to upload my document first. And I can pick either the JPEG or the PDF. Notice the difference here. The PDF is 5 megabytes. Oh, that uses a lot of resources. I'll go with the JPEG. Thank you. And I will say transcribe exactly. I'm not going to say that it's Yiddish. I want to see if it can figure it out. This letter or this document and translate to English. I'm just going to leave it as American English. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and see what it does. It is a Yiddish letter. Yay. Here is, and line breaks approximate to visual layout. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Now this is printed. Printed always goes faster. Okay, and here it is. And so basically it is about one of the concentration camps. And so it is there. Basically, if you want to analyze it, I'm not going to go over it. It was quite upsetting to me when I read it, but I just want to show you that it does an amazing job. So let's proceed here. This is what we did. We uploaded our image. Then we ran the transcription. We used the word exactly. Okay. For large documents, there's no way I would ever upload a 400-page PDF. Not going to work. It wouldn't even work for the paid version. So you have to chunk it. You have to divide it into little bits. Okay. It's going to make it easier. Use prompts that put it in context like this. We said, transcribe this handwritten letter in English, dated 1821, affidavit, supportive application for Jacob Hoff. And I forgot my quote at the end of there. And afterwards, so you need to review the results for accuracy. Now, that's the way it goes. I want to take a little time out and show you something that will be of use even with Jewish documents and with Australian records. Did you know that Family Search has started this process? Some of their early databases were manually indexed, meaning just like me, I would pull up the image and I would sit there and type information into a spreadsheet. Well, now that we have AI, they are deploying that to go back to those same records and run them through AI, and they can now index on every field. You'll be able to find stuff easier. So the link is in your handout. This is what it looks like, and I know I have to log in, stand on my head, give up the blood of my firstborn just to get in. Let's see. There we are. So basically, let's see if it has Australian documents. Down here, it will show you there are over 2,400 collections. Oh, wow. Here we go. Yeah, all of these. So it does a lot of these. Let me see if it's probably, I don't know if I can put Jewish. Uh, yeah, it's going to go by location. So I would have to say uh, Ukraine, or I'd have to say Poland. Okay. But here's an example for me. I'm going to put in one of my more famous relatives. That's the keywords, or I can say that this is the name right here. John MacEntee. I'll take that out. The place is in New York. John MacEntee was in the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War, and helped found the Secret Service with Alan Pinkerton. Uh, so let's go ahead and we'll say 1820 to 1899. And it's going to go through and search through its 30 billion records of the ones that have been translated, transcribed via AI. And wow. Now, this is what I prefer is I prefer to put it uh, in quotes, even though it will give me less documents. It gave me 18 million in there, and I can go through and do that. So I encourage you to look at this. Let's go to translation. We've already done one translation, but here, translation is the more difficult of all the three operations, okay? It can do almost any language. I recently translated the 1901 Tehran census from Farsi to English for a follower. I also had another follower who gave me a letter written in 1600 in Japanese, and it was able to do that. This is where context is really, really important. Because let's say you have a French letter from Brittany in northern France from 1750. If you don't say that it's from Brittany, it's 1750, it's gonna might assume modern day Parisian French. It might stumble over vocabulary. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. It's also no substitute for a professional translator. If you have anything to do with legal work, like applying maybe for an Italian passport, usually they won't accept anything translated by AI. Okay. And so, yeah, these don't always work by the rules. We have dialects, we have this and that. So here's a page from a book published in 1889. It's about the Edict of Nantes. The Edict of Nantes was in 1585. It's what settled some of the religious wars between the Catholics and Protestants in France. I have Huguenot ancestors that were thrown out of France in 1675 when they did away with the Edict of Nantes. So this is printed. This is from Internet Archive. This is what I'm going to do. Start a new chat. Remember, you upload your files first. We'll go here and we'll go over here. And I'm going to say again, transcribe exactly this page from a French book about the Edict of Nantes, published in 1889, and translate to English. There we go. Oh, English. Sometimes it's not very forgiving on spelling. And here we go. It's going to go ahead and do this. Okay. My French is not that great. I speak Spanish and fluently, but a little bit of German, a little bit of French. And here it is. Uh-huh. And I can go ahead and just use this. It even did the footnote. And the other thing that's weird, it knows this book. If I said to do the next page, I won't have to upload the page. It has already determined what the book is and where it can find a free version online. Amazing. Here we go with our last translation. Handwritten marriage record, a form from 1881 in German. Okay, so again, upload your file. Let's see here. Where are we? There we are. While that uploads, I'm going to say transcribe exactly this German marriage record dated 1881. Now, it would help if I knew where it was from, because Swiss German is different than Austrian German, is different than German German. Okay. And translate to English. Here's another kicker. This is a modifier I like to add. I would say role equals genealogist. Okay. You could say role equals sociologist, psychologist, whatever. But it will provide me a little bit more information. Let's go ahead and let this rip. There it is. And look at the speed. There it is. Terschteigel am 30. October. Yeah, so go on. And there's the English translation. And now, look at, now this again, this is the paid offering. Look, it's going to help me find civil records. So again, you can see that I don't make anything off of selling you $20 a month US. Okay, let's finish up here. Context is very important. If you know the time period and region, if you know the document type, the cultural and religious context, if you know any family data, and how can you improve accuracy? Well, the image quality. Sometimes I will use a photo editor and use the autocorrect where it will, correct the image, make it lighter, change contrast. Other things I've done is I've taken a really bad handwritten letter and I've converted it to a negative, like an old photostat from the 50s and 60s, so that the background is black and the handwriting is white. The image type, remember, JPEG is best for single page images. PDF is best for books. You notice with that Yiddish letter that was typed in Yiddish, I opted to use the 40K JPEG and not the 5 megabyte PDF. The length and the number of images matter. I would not put up 20 images at once. It's not going to work. Print versus handwriting. This is the hierarchy. Print is always easiest. Fill in the blank forms are second, and handwriting is always the most difficult. The platform depends. So this is what I'm going to say to you. If you don't like the results or you get timed out by ChatGPT, go to Claude. Use the free version there. Then go to free Copilot. Go to free. Try them out to do that. Okay. AI and copyright. We've already discussed this. The output, at least here in the US states, cannot be copyrighted. You are free to edit it, to add to it, and even create your own derivative. This is what I do for my books now. I have a 400-page book on Amazon about tracing New York State genealogy, and I'm right up front that it was generated by ChatGPT, but that as an expert and someone born in New York, I went through it line by line by line. Okay. But also, this is one thing. I have free cheat sheets, and I'll show you how to download them. They have scraped my cheat sheets. Don't you think that I should get a royalty every time that they use them? There are major lawsuits in U.S. courts. We are a litigious population, I know. But the thing is, artists, authors have been accusing ChatGPT and others of stealing their copyrighted content. So we'll see how that plays out. Source citations. I'm a big believer that you need to be transparent. If I did not translate that letter myself, I need to say that AI did it. Okay, so I'm using a formula similar to Evidence Explained. If you don't know Evidence Explained, it's by Elizabeth Shown Mills. It's in its 4th revised edition. The update was this past fall. On pages 691 and 692, she goes over how to cite AI. This is the formula. Let's walk through it. So basically, I would put my prompt in quotes and put the word prompt. Then I would put the name of the platform, the date or version of the platform, because if I use free, that's going to be different than if I use paid. The name of the AI company, it's not always obvious. The date of the query, that's important. We already do that when we cite ancestry records. We say that I accessed it at ancestry.com.au or whatever .au and the date that I did it, and then the URL. So an example, remember that one page we did from the book on the Edict of Nantes? And this is the title in French. Here's the formula. Translate to English, and I said a lot more than that in the prompt. I used a digital image of this book, page 3, published in 1889. I used ChatGPT At this time, this is back on March 12th of 2024, I used 3.5 was the latest version. It's owned by OpenAI, and there's a URL. So let's close up with tips and tricks, and I will take your questions. In general, remember to provide clear and concise instructions. Be verbose. Don't be a shrinking violet. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and forth and do that iterative conversation. Remember to provide feedback, thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell it why it did a crappy job. Break down into separate prompts. Sometimes you notice what I had to do with the migration routes. Adding that request for an Excel table was way too much, and so I had to redo it and break it down into sections. Please be aware of this. Don't go out to the Google and say, AI translation of Yiddish handwritten letter. You will find the top results are fly-by-night AI platforms that probably want money. And think of it this way. No one's going to have as large a knowledge base as ChatGPT or any of the other four that I mentioned. I need to remove that. I don't know why that's still there. Summarization. Remember, we told it what we want the output. We wanted surname organized by in generation order. Transcription. Do small segments. Again, did you know it can also transcribe audio and video? If you upload an audio MP4 file of an interview, it will create a transcription for you. For video, it will transcribe the audio portion of the video. Translation, be very specific, put it in context, review the translated text. Now, what if you don't speak the original language? One of my followers came up with this idea on the French. She said, well, then what she did is she took the English translation, went back to ChatGPT and said, now translate this to French. And she was able to compare side by side. It's not perfect, but it's a way. Check the context of the translated text. If something doesn't make sense, resources. The handout has a lot of resources. This is one that I want to mention to you. I have a book on Amazon, even on Amazon Australia, about this very subject. It has detailed pages, probably about 30 pages on handling Jewish documents, German Fraktur. These are U.S. prices. It's in Kindle and paperback. And in addition, you should know that I have about 40 different books and cheat sheets that I have published on Amazon. And they cover many different things. I know many of them are U.S. based, but still they may have some value for you. Okay, this one especially. And then the last thing is, it would honor me if you went and you checked out my personal website, Genealogy Bargains. This is where I post sales. I even post sales on Find My Past and Ancestry for Australia. And also, this is where you're going to come. The first time you visit, you'll get a pop-up, and it will say, do you want to sign up for my e-newsletter? Please do so. And I send about 2 or 3 of those email blasts a week. And then look at this, free cheat sheets. Some of these will be relevant to you. Google Book tips, smarter search strategies, Google tools. They're not all US based. These are 2-page PDFs that you are welcome to download and use for your personal use. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share. I'm going to put Max and or Bernie on the spot and say, what did you guys think of this? Unmute yourselves.
I am mind
blown.
Yeah.
Now, can you see how you'll be all up all night and you cannot blame me for your sleep habits tonight?
Oh, look, I've got a Polish document. It's actually a Polish book that was written. I was contacted by the Institute of Slavic Affairs from the University of Krakow, where they were researching an incident of a pogrom in Krakow, which involved my father and my uncle. And It's just been published. So I have the PDF copy of that, and I've been looking at how I can translate. I've been doing like single pages just where there's been reference and that. Now I'm going to do the whole book.
I will tell you, Google Translate is very literate. It's literal. The thing is, when you use Google Translate, here's an example. I wanted the French word for non-citizen, alien, and it gave me extraterrestrial. and as an extraterrestrial. And I thought, yeah, I know some of my relatives have landed from a spaceship, but that's crazy. This is much better. This actually, remember, these platforms can think, they can learn. What you will need to do, depending on the size of that book, Bernie, is break it up into maybe 5-page chunks, etc. Yeah. Other questions? Oh, someone's asking, Max is asking about perplexity. Let me mention perplexity. I'm going to share my screen again. Good question, Max. I did not mention perplexity for this reason. It does not do a very good job at translating and transcribing. Okay, it is not its strong suit. This is what it does do very well, and this is why genealogists like it. My biggest fear is that Perplexity is going to be bought out by one of the other four companies and assimilated. But here, I'm going to say, how do I locate record sets to learn more about my German ancestor who arrived in New York City in 1881. 1881 is an important date. You know why? Ellis Island wasn't open until 1892. Everyone thinks it's about Ellis Island. Let me go ahead and let this go. I'm using the free version. And look at this. Sources. Yay, we love sources. This is the only platform to be upfront with where it's getting this information from. It has found 20 sources, and I can have them appear right here and go through them. Absolutely amazing. And here's the answer. The other thing it does a great job. Everything is footnoted here, back to those sources. And then what it also does very well, and this is the free version, it offers more help. So do you see how it's not like ChatGPT? With ChatGPT, I would have to say include source citations. It does. It's sort of like a negative option. It doesn't put them up first. This is what Perplexity is good for, is for doing research. It is not good. It doesn't have an adequate knowledge base for translation and transcription. That's through my own testing as well. So good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions? Have I stunned everyone into silence here? Here's
Terry
Terry.
has asked, yeah.
Is it better to use ChatGPT to analyze original documents rather than post them on JewishGen or genealogical translations on Facebook? I personally would say yes. When you're dealing with someone, I assume is going to translate it themselves, and it's going to go through their filter. It's going to go through their body of knowledge. There's no guarantees with AI. And also, this is what I used to see a lot with Tracing the Tribe. I'm a big friend of Shelley Dardashy and know her personally. And I know a lot of people will put up tombstones with Hebrew writing and want a translation. I've seen a decrease in those requests now that AI is here. So I really can't say, Terry. What I would do is this. Why don't you have ChatGPT do it and then go ahead and post the results and get an opinion on JewishGen or genealogical translations. Mike Regan, Mike, you bring up a good point. DeepSeek, I won't use it. It's based in China. I have a bias with TikTok, and there are certain things I will not use because I just don't trust the Chinese in terms of surveilling at least Americans. And that is my personal bias. So that's why I don't use it. I haven't downloaded, haven't tested, not interested. But I'll be honest there. You always get an honest answer from me. That's the New Yorker in me. Anything else? You have the recording. You have a great handout. So Bernie, I know what you're going to be doing later today.
I am. I can recommend to everyone download the handout. It's very detailed and will give you step-by-step guides to do a lot of the things that Thomas has shown us on this webinar.
Yeah.
Any last questions?
Great.
for
Now,
anybody.
just so you know, Bernie and Max, I'm retiring from live webinars at the end of the year. Boo-hoo. I need to start but wait a minute, there's hope. You're still plenty of time to schedule something in November, December, or even September. The other thing is I'm launching a subscription video channel for genealogy studies it will have probably about 20 of my recorded webinars with 4 new ones every year, exclusive. And it's something that can patch through from a tech side to be displayed on your members only section. It's going to have a reasonable price, so I'll be announcing that probably August 1st. So there is hope, because I've had too many societies say, what are we going to do without you? We count on you for this and this and this every year. But, you know, I take care of my 93-year-old father-in-law, and it's hard to do elder care with a live teaching schedule. And that's really why I need to get away from live teaching. I'll still be on Facebook. I'll still be writing books, but it's the live teaching that really is 200 this year is a bit much. So, well, I'm going to take my leave, if that's okay. It's a little after 9 here.
Thomas, it's been unbelievable. I think everyone's minds are blown.
Thank you
and
so much.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone's going to be busy on ChatGPT for the rest of
Yeah.
our Sunday here, even though it's a beautiful sunny day in Melbourne. But
the other thing, yeah, I do want to say is, remember here on the handout on the slides, you can always email me at this email address. It may take me 24 hours to get back to you. I can't do research. I don't do client research, but please don't be a stranger. If you have questions about anything that I covered tonight, don't be shy, and please make sure that you send me an email. I'm going to take my leave.
Okay.
And good night.
Thomas.
Good luck.
It's been great.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was amazing.
Unbelievable.
Extraordinary. My mind's just buzzing.